What's going on, folks? I'm glad you're here. My name is Chris, and today we are talking about setting up the leisure carry clip-on belt. If you're watching this, it means you're either curious about how to set this up before you buy one, or you've already bought one and you're trying to figure out the best way to set it up for yourself. Either way, make sure you go and watch my review of the clip-on belt. That's a little bit more of a deep dive on the materials and stuff like that. This video is all about how I optimally set up my clip-on belt to work for me. The method that I've devised for this works across all pants that I have that have a drawstring and are comfy cozy pants. So I'm going to show you 2 pairs of joggers and 2 pairs of basketball style shorts. I have several jobs, but one of them is personal trainer. So I find myself in these kinds of clothes very often, and it's nice to be able to still have my gun on me. Also, lounging around the house in comfortable clothes. Most people are reaching for athleisure wear these days. That's what I'm wearing right now, athleisure wear from a company called Triplo. If you're lounging around the house in your athleisure wear and you still want to have a gun on you, this is the way to do that. One other thing I'll say is it makes it easier and more accessible for me to dry fire when wearing these kinds of clothes. In the past, if I wanted to dry fire later in the day, I needed to be wearing pants with belt loops that I could then put a belt on to clip my gun to, and that was a pain. Now I can get into my comfy clothes, put my clip-on belt on, strap my gun on, and as long as my gun is clear, dry fire anytime I want to around the house. We are going to change up the camera angle so that you get a up close and personal shot of my waist. So I can show you how I set up both my comfy pants that I want to wear and the clip-on belt to work together so that I can wear a firearm while I'm in comfy pants. Before we dive deep into my waistband, I want to mention 2 affiliates. The first one is Triplo. They make fantastic athletic apparel. This Genesis hoodie is extremely comfortable, and you're about to get up close and personal with their Luxe joggers, which is an amazing combo. This is the first thing I do when I get home from work, is I throw on my Triplo gear. Also, they have a fantastic message behind them. A portion of all their sales go to help with missions around the world. If you're interested in checking out Triplo, then head down to the link in the description. I also have to mention Axle Hearing Protection. I have muffs of theirs that I love, the Tracker Blue Bluetooth ear muffs that you can wear out to the range. I actually double those up with the Axle X Core if I'm ever shooting indoors. I've also loved their GS Extremes, which are earbuds with a linking cord that goes behind your head. Those have amazing battery life and crystal clear sound quality, active listening, all the things that you want. They're rechargeable, obviously, but then we have the X Core, which is just a step above everything else. They're ultra streamlined earbuds that have all of the capabilities that you could ever want in an earbud. They have active listening. You can listen to podcasts and music while you're out at the range, or you can chat with your buddies with crystal clear sound while blocking out all of the damaging noise around you. I use them in the gym. I use them on runs. I use them in a noisy work environment, and obviously I cannot go to the range without these things. If you're interested in checking out the X Core, then make sure to go and watch my review of the X Core at this card. Also, there's a link down in the description to take you over to the Axle website so you can check out all of their offerings. They're almost always doing sales, but if they happen to not be doing one when you see this video, then you can use Sever shoots at checkout to save yourself 15%. Now, let's dive deeply into my waistband. Welcome to my waistline. Happy to have you here. We're going to go ahead and flip this guy up so you can see what I'm working with here. Real simple. I've tied a slip knot here so that one side of the drawstring slides easily over the other one. That's going to be important for getting the right amount of tightness here. So first thing we're going to do, we are going to take our clip-on belt and we're going to get it into position. I like to, since I carry on the right side of my waist, I'm going to cheat it over this way a little bit more so that when I put the gun on, my claw has space on the cob to bite into the cob and give me that nice concealability. Now, real simple, before I tie the clips down, I am going to take my drawstring and I'm going to use that slip knot to pull it as tight as I can. Notice If I pull tight and then I let go, there is some slipping going on in that slip knot, which is totally okay, except we want to get this as tight as we can so we can have the sturdiest platform on which to mount our gun. So I'm gonna pull it as tight as I can. Gonna use my finger to hold place as I tie my just typical standard bow knot. And then I'm going to double knot it because the tension can tend to slip that bow. Now with that all tied, I'm going to snap those clips down. We're gonna bring up our X macro. And there's two ways you can do this. You can either put it over your waistband and under the bottom lip of the cob, and this works just fine. You're not gonna have any issues as long as you make sure that that's biting underneath the clip-on belt. But another way, if you wanna go ultra concealed or whatever, is you can take the clip of your holster and stick it underneath your waistband and then clip it over the cob. And now you've got this effect. Now, obviously, I'm gonna be ultra concealed here in my hoodie, so we've got no issues with printing, but what you wanna know is how comfortable this is. And the biggest thing is it keeps that gun up, just like a normal belt does. If you were one of the people who tried setting up your holster by putting it over your waistband and then tying the drawstring up around the clip or something, even if you got it as tight as you possibly could, your gun probably still slipped down into your business region, and it's just not comfortable to carry a gun around like that. Can you do it? Absolutely, but it's not going to be as effective, and the cob also bites into that claw, like we mentioned a little bit earlier, and just like a normal belt, pulls the gun into your gut a little bit to trim down its profile and make it really, really concealable. Let's try this. Same pair of pants, same setup, same everything, except let's go with a bigger gun. Full size P320, full size holster. Same concealability. Now, this is one test I really like to do just to really drive it home, is to just bounce around a little bit and show you that the gun isn't, you know, if you were just doing the drawstring method here with no extra support like the cob gives you, then the gun would be doing a little bit more of this. Here, we are all good. Now what I want to do is switch through some of those other pants I mentioned before. So let's go ahead and change into a pair of shorts. So the nice thing about the Triplo shorts is that they have the exact same drawstring as the joggers. So you already know this is going to work pretty well. They do have a little bit thinner of a waistband, but that shouldn't matter. Same method. We're going to get the cob down in there, oriented the way that we want, a little bit more skewed towards the right. We're going to tighten that slip knot that we've got as tight as we can get it. We're gonna knot and double knot, and we're gonna close the clips and throw on our big gun. And we're good to go. This is gonna be a killer setup with the X macro for summer. But same test as before. We're gonna jump around. No issues, no bouncing, no problems with concealability, no issues with unholstering, no problems with reholstering. This is a very tight holster as well. So there's that. And that claw is doing its job, keeping the grip pulled into our gut for a slimmer profile. Let's try another pair of joggers. These are the all-weather tech joggers from a company called AHA Selected. They have a very different, softer, thinner material in their drawstring, which is going to make things a little bit different, but have the same setup with a slip knot and everything. Let's see how it works. Same method, completely different company. Still works great, still conceals fantastically. We still have no bouncing, and we can still draw and reholster with consistency. Let's change things up to one more pair of shorts. These shorts are from a company called Roan, and they're very comfortable. There's going to be a slight difference with these shorts in that the drawstring is on the inside of the waistband instead of the outside. The setup is still exactly the same, and this is one of those pair of pants where the drawstring is anchored at the back, so it doesn't slide freely back and forth. It makes it a little bit harder to set this up, but it still works. One thing I did have to do is this waistband used to be split, and then the drawstring came out of each side of that split. I did snip that in order to make this work. Didn't do anything to the shorts to make them perform worse or anything. It just makes it so that I can set them up for the cob. So we're pretty much going to do exactly what we've been doing. We're going to put the cob on. We're going to start tightening the drawstring. You'll notice it's going to start to bunch up to the left because of the anchoring at the back. But the nice thing about this drawstring is it actually holds tension pretty well on itself, so I don't need to use a finger to hold it. And then I'm just going to tie my knots to make sure that we don't get this slipping. I'm going to tuck my knot back into my pants so that it's not dangling out the front all weird. Clip down the clips, bring on our gun, and again, I could go outside or inside the waistband with the clip. I prefer outside. It makes it easier to get it off when I go to get it off, and we're good. We're all set up in the Roan shorts. We'll do our jumping test to check the bouncing, of which there is none compared to a normal belt. We'll check the unholstering with our super tight holster and our reholstering, and we're solid. We're set. We're sucking that gun into our gut, and we're good to go. In my opinion, this is the best way to set up the clip-on belt in any pair of comfy pants that you have that has a drawstring. Dry fire reps, anyone? Folks, I hope this video was helpful and informative for you. If it was, make sure to like and subscribe. I would also appreciate if you'd go and check out my Instagram page, where I am posting way more often than I do to YouTube about all the things that I'm doing, all the stuff that I'm working with, dry fire videos, range highlights, all that good stuff. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate your view, and as always, I will catch you later.